my Calathea White Star care video. It's been requested. It took me a minute, but here we are. These are 7 things that I'm going to talk about, but not maybe in this order in the video. And of course, just a quick disclaimer before we get started. I'm not an expert. I'm more of an enthusiastic hobbyist. So what works for me might not work for you, and this is all based on my own experience. But we'll start with watering. When do you water? Well, you water when your plant is dry. So check the soil, poke your finger down an inch or 2. And if the soil feels dry, it's probably time to water. You might also pick the plant up, and if it feels lighter, you might realize it's also time to water. Now, Calatheas do need distilled water, and so I do this I actually invested in a water distiller because I have a lot of Calatheas. The White Star is really sensitive to elements that are in the water, minerals. So distilled water is important. I store it in these old distilled water jugs that I have, these gallon jugs. And this makes a gallon at a time, so my water distiller, so it's perfect. So I just go ahead, I pour it into my watering can, I take it around the house and get everybody watered, but I definitely, again, check each plant before I water to make sure that I'm not overwatering. And I would say one of the things about watering Calathea is that they need to have an even kind of moist soil, but they also like there to be moisture in the air. So I use a whole room humidifier in my plant room, and that keeps the humidity at between 50 and 65%. But in other areas of my house, I use these little oil diffusers without any oil in them. Though I know some of you use like pest repelling oil, which I'm really curious about, but have never tried. And what this does is it raises the humidity in this tiny little area. And I have measured it just to make sure. It can raise it like anywhere from 5 to 7%, which is great when I'm running the heater in the winter, for example, and I'm drying the air out with something I'm doing in the house. But it's not going, these little oil diffusers are not going to raise the overall humidity in the room. They just won't. So it might be worth investing in a meter for you to tell, what is the humidity level at? Because low humidity will lead to brown tips on your White Star, and so will using tap water over time. So just keep that in mind. There's a little relationship there with the brown tips and what causes them. Now you can also get brown tips from over-fertilizing, and I get a lot of fertilizer questions, so let's talk about it. This is what I'm using right now. I dilute what's recommended here on the back, but down to 25% strength. And I make it up in a gallon jug and store it. And then in the growing season, so for me, that's usually March to November. So that's when I see a lot of growth on my plants, my Calatheas. I go ahead and I fertilize them once a month, every other month. And that's all. I water them before I add in this fertilizer mix that you see here that have these really cute Calathea illustrated stickers on them. And just watering before, I can make sure that I'm not going to be burning the roots. And if you over fertilize, you can definitely burn the roots, and then you can get these brown tips on the edge of the leaves just along the margin. It's really frustrating. When you get a new White Star, check. Do you see these pellets? Do you see something like this in the soil? Because if you do, definitely has some slow release fertilizer. So I'm not going to be fertilizing this for a few months because 1, I'm outside of the growing season. It's currently January. And 2, I want to make sure I'm not adding in too much fertilizer when it's already got some. I also do replace nutrients in my soil by just adding a top dressing of worm castings. So I add an even layer across the soil and then I water through. And this is just going to help replace some of the nutrients that get lost over time. And I also amend my soil with it. So let's talk about soil. Now, this soil is a amended, pre-mixed potting soil that I bought. I haven't been able to make my own soil since everything's been going on, so it's been about a year. But you can see here, this is a chunky soil. It's sun grows black gold, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a soil that's got some really big elements in it, that's got what looks like some nutrition. I add in the worm castings for a little bit extra, and I add in a little bit of something else as well. So I amend with perlite, and I do this because, well, perlite's a little controversial. Some people don't like how it tends to rise in the pot, tends to float to the surface over time. And then, do you see what it's supposed to do here? It's supposed to improve drainage and aeration. And when that happens, you kind of lose the benefit. So we'll talk about that. I tend to repot often enough that it's not too much of a problem, but you might want to try pumice or something else, right? What works for me might not work for you. So keep that in mind. But the important thing about the soil for me is that when I water it, number one, it's fast draining. So my pot needs to have a drainage hole so that I can make sure it's doing it. And two, I've got to see that water come out really quickly after I water the plant. Depending on the size of the pot will tell me a little bit about how quickly, right? The bigger the pot, the longer it might take to filter down. But I don't want my plant sitting in water, and aeration is important. So let's talk about that. When the soil gets really compact, right? And this is a wooden dowel that you see me using here. And I'm just going to poke this down into the soil and kind of artificially create an air pocket. Now, some people do this. It's a little controversial about whether or not it works. But for me, the composition of the soil is important with all those chunky elements, because if there's not enough aeration, you're not going to have fast draining soil. So the water is going to sit there. And you're also not going to have enough oxygen in the soil. And when the soil, by the way, is too wet, the roots of the plant can't take in oxygen, and they need to do that. You create an anaerobic environment when the soil is too compacted. So keep that in mind. You also want to clean off your leaves. So I use this old little makeup brush that came with something to clean my leaves. And I do this pretty often. And I'll tell you why, right? Cleaning your leaves is great. There's a number of reasons why you would do it. For me, it's a really good time for me to just look at my plant and see if I'm having any pest issues or any other issues for that matter. I might even take a little bottle of distilled water and spray the leaves down if they're particularly dusty. But I don't let moisture sit on the leaf surface when I do this. I do dab it away. And I recommend that you do that just because leaving moisture sitting on the surface of the leaf can lead to bacterial and fungal issues. So that's been my experience. But it's a good time to check for webbing, for white debris on the back of the leaves, because spider mites love a white star. They really love a white star and will go to town and feast on your plant. And so cleaning serves a variety of purposes, checking on your plant, looking for pests. And there's also another thing that's important is you just look at these things like here, for instance, this is my Leopardina. It has a brown tip. Now the white star doesn't quite have brown tips, and this is a really small one, to be honest. It's a tiny little speck of brown. It's going to grow over time and it's going to get crispy, and that's just how it is. And the white star is very prone to this problem. And I get a ton of questions about how do I stop my white star from crisping up? Well, check the humidity. Have you been watering enough, too little, too much? Have you over-fertilized? Keep all of those things in mind. Those are usually the culprits. Or, like this leaf here, is it just an old leaf that's part of its natural life cycle, that as new growth comes in, the older leaves dry up and fade away? Don't panic. Don't panic about the leaves not being perfect. If you see, and I stress this, just go and do a Google image search for like Calatheas in the rainforest, and you're going to see Calatheas whose leaves are absolutely not perfect. That even in its most kind of the environment where it's getting everything it needs, it's still going to not be perfect. It's going to have crispy tips. So don't stress out. Now, cleaning the leaves also helps with photosynthesis. It gets the dust off the surface and allows them to take in more light. But what kind of light? How much light? Now, I tend to give my Calatheas a little bit more light than I think is usually recommended. They're either right up against a north-facing window, in an east window getting morning sun, pulled back from a west-facing window a few feet, and then maybe even a little further back from a southern window. So really bright indirect light, or I can give mine kind of a weak morning light, direct light rather. And keep in mind though that you can burn the plant, and what'll happen is a little brown spot will show up on the leaf. Over time, the leaf there will thin and thin and thin until it's just a hole. So it's possible. And if you notice that, pull your plant back as soon as you can. And other than that, that's pretty much for me. I say the last thing is maybe temperature. I keep mine between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, but they're pretty resilient plants. So just keep that in mind, but they are from the rainforest. They're from tropical America. So keep in mind what they might be used to or what might be most beneficial. But also notice, do you see the patterns on the leaf here are slightly different? We have thicker and thinner leaves. We have different colors. The White Star tends to produce pinkish lines that fade to cream over time. And they're polymorphic for patterns. So sometimes you're going to have these thinner lines and sometimes thicker lines. And this can have to do with the environment, with the maturity of the plant, with even things like temperature, with light exposure. So don't worry if you see different colors in the lines over time. That is perfectly natural. So if you have a question or if there's something I haven't mentioned that you're wondering about, go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll try to answer as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, be well and take care.